Okay, I think I finally got a bit of a workaround for the static issue. Basically, I'm just going to play music over top of it, because I think that's pretty much the only option. A little unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So, for today, I'm just going to be doing some more farming, because that's kind of how it is. I need more indie kernels. Still kind of plugging away at this guy right here. Yeah, I think this is all I'm going to be doing, so probably go ahead and do the tougher spawn. Shouldn't be an issue. Just gotta make sure I got all my guys set up properly. When you're doing the indies, kinda need these. Like, I don't have these researched or built because they're freaking reactor ceilings. Like, nobody's really using those in many fits. In a very distant universe, it might be a thing, but just not really. So yeah, I just use the T1s. They're actually decent anyways. I got some of my things built now, so all my losses from yesterday are pretty much done. Where the heck am I looking? Okay. So I need... Where is my... Oh, it's probably in my inventory. And I'm actually using it already. So yeah, I got my lock booster rebuilt, but I actually don't use a lock booster for this because it's just a static spawn. I use the it honestly doesn't matter what you use for this one, to be totally honest. Velocity Nexus is actually probably the most efficient thing. If I had to guess, yeah, I do actually need the sensor amp for this. So let's grab all these, throw them in there, and I need to reverse engineer. I'd like to start with the T4. I think I'll go with 876 for my reverse engineering. Actually, how many extra of these do I need? Because I might just go straight across 95 all the way down. Okay, I got 15 of those, so that's not going to be an issue. 11 of those. Okay, so I really don't need any extra, so I'll go 95 all the way down. So I want my mat and material ratio to be 95 because I actually don't want extras. It's just clogging my inventory at this point. So this should need a 6. And this should need a 4. And this will be impossible. It's going to be 105 even with the lowest one, but that's what we'll do. Okay. So those are going. I'm gonna throw these guys in. I wonder if you can do this. Is this a thing? Can I click all of these and throw them in? Moment of truth. No, you can't. Okay, that's alright. I'm actually gonna have to do a mass recycle here. I'm pretty sure I'm getting kinda low on these things that I usually have a lot of. Cryoprene? Cryoprene? is getting a little low. So, what do I get from here? 40K. Not great. Could definitely recycle some more stuff. Like these ECMs I don't need, those I don't need. Those I don't need. Those I'm gonna get 1,000,000 of because I still have to do postal kernels. ECCM. I think I did a run of those already. Well, I'm pretty low actually. So, kind of want to keep those. Okay, what do I have here that I'm not going to be making anytime soon? Because I really need to do a pretty big recycle here. Okay, this armor stuff, like armor repair tunings, I'm just not going to be building those anytime soon. Jeez, I'm actually really low on lots of shit. This is what happens when you don't play for a long ass time. Medium armor repairs, is that even a thing? These medium HCl lasers I can get rid of if I even have those. Not really. It's mostly light stuff that I can get rid of, because that's what I farm a lot of. I guess I can get rid of all these plates here. Like 20 of each is not a lot, but I just never make them. You don't really ever lose these, so yeah, they can go. Medium harvesters. Do I have those? In the queue? No. Okay, so you know what, I think I'm gonna leave these because this is something that I am actually gonna need to build pretty soon here. Energy newts. I don't even think I have those researched because that's one of the things that I'm missing, I believe. Yeah, so I do want to keep those. Okay, medium armor repairs. I have 2 of them. Okay, so that's probably something that I actually need to do a run of. Alright, well, let's see. Okay, stasis. The scanners definitely don't need. I know I've got quite a few of those, yeah, so I don't need those. Sensor amps. 60 of those. Okay, those can go. Small shield generators. Looks like I'm kind of out of those. Or am I completely out of those? Okay. Well, let's see how that does. Okay, now we're at 160,000. 30, 20. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let me actually just check my recycling really quick. Because I might actually be able to push that up. Yeah, this is something that's probably worth getting all the way up there. Okay, recycle. Yeah, that was actually a pretty big difference. I think I went up like what? 20,000? Or am I just crazy? Maybe not. But whatever. It's good to have recycling at 10. I probably should have had that at 10 a long time ago. Same as refining. This should have probably been at 10 a long time ago. That's okay. Also repairing. Put that to 8 because I think I'm kind of getting out of VP here. Yeah. It's the worst indie bot ever. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and recycle all that crap. And then let's start pumping these out. Oh, the isopropanol. I'm gonna need to make some of that. Yeah. I don't think anything else is currently using that, so I can kind of go a little crazy on it. But I'm definitely going to need some because this is using up. These two are going to use up all of it, so my T3 and T4 I'm going to have to wait, do I not have... Where's my... I should have extras of these. Wow. Okay, that's a big screw up. Didn't leave myself any extras. Yeah, that's a screw up. How did that happen? It's entirely possible that I brought my extras on a different account, because there was a point in time where I was trying to do some indie on a second account. That would be my guess. I don't even know what this box is for. Yeah, it's a little awkward. Okay then. Well, I'll get the tier 1 and the tier 2 going, at least. Yeah, that should all be fine. It's only an hour cycle, so I'll come back after this farm and start the tier 3s, and then a little bit later start the tier 4s. Not a big deal, like it's not like it's something I need immediately, so. Anyways. Okay, these guys are all good to go. I need you. Yeah, you're good. Again, I should have another, I'm actually going to try that. Where are my sensor apps? I'm going to try putting another sensor app on the Metis. Let's see how that looks now. Still 83% damage reduction, so that last shield only adds like an extra 4%. I mean, obviously it's significant, but it's not that bad. Okay. Yeah, this is all fine. And I decided that that chat blocker is really, really ugly. So we're gonna do this. I need to okay, let's do this. There we go. That's much prettier. There, that looks a lot better. Okay. Now, yeah, no, I need to. Okay, I need to finish off my indie kernels, and then I might do common later. Cause yeah, I need to finish off the indie kernels. I was just thinking I might want to try and do the money spawn, but I just need the indie kernels right now. Once I finish that, I can do whatever I want, but I kind of just need to grind that out and get it over and done with. So it's right here that I want to go. Right in that little area right there. That's the spot. So I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this is the biggest indie spawn on the Alpha Island. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. It's a little difficult to push the wave down initially. Well, I think somebody sold me some more of these. Okay, I'm still the top buyer, so that's good. I am buying a few because I just hate farming indie kernels. It's... well, I shouldn't say I hate it, but it is a little boring. There's just zero risk of anything happening. So it is what it is, though. I'm so close to being done it that this is just something that I probably should have finished a long time ago. I might get this one, but that would just be for completionist's sake. Like, this mod does nothing. I will never use it. I'm just doing this for the fast extractor. And then once I've got the fast extractor, that's everything I could possibly need from Indy. So yeah. I need about, I think, 100k more. $160,000. So yeah, I'm actually pretty close. Yeah, it's 80, 150, 250. A little bit more than 250. It's like 255. Yeah, I need like 90,000 more. If I could get like 60,000 right now and then buy the rest of it, that would make me happy. But it's gonna be a little while. Yeah, I just finished work, so I gotta bring my car into Bubbles tomorrow. I finished work about a week and a half ago. Yeah, I was working in the mud quite a lot, and my car is a huge mess. Like embarrassing to show to a girl mess. Luckily, my girlfriend is just used to it, but yeah, it's not good. So yeah, this is if anybody wants to farm indie kernels, over here is a really easy spot. You can farm that spot. That's what a lot of people were doing originally, was just farming that spot. Because you could do it with like just mechs, and you know, when you're just starting out and there's nothing in the server, the grind is real. So, I mean, myself, I joined the server with a very specific plan. Because I was playing on a different server to begin with, while this one was getting loaded up. Like, as soon as they went open project, this server was working out a lot of the kinks, and other people were just kind of going with what the server was before and just kind of launching their own server. It was a super big buggy mess, and these guys were trying to iron out all of those bugs before they got into it. But some other people just, launched their own server and tried to fix some of it with some success and some not success. But yeah. Point being, I was on a server that had to be restarted 3 times. And I wasn't really doing much at the time, so whenever the server had to be restarted, I joined again, and I started from scratch again. So I basically had a lot of practice starting from scratch with nothing, and figuring out the quickest way to Oops, I totally targeted the wrong guy. This is going to be a slight problem. Nah, maybe not really. Okay, let's get rid of the shifters first. Are you even shooting it? No, you're not. Okay, get over there. Yeah, this is why the spawn is not really friendly, because you get just dumpstered on until you push it down. But it is what it is. Once you get it down, it's really nice. Just kind of trying to push down the spawns right now. Yeah, it's a little tough, but we will get there. Of course, he's got everything locked but the one thing I need locked. Okay. Once I get this wave pushed down, I will finish my thoughts on how to start from scratch. But I need to concentrate just a little bit right now to try and do this in a somewhat manageable time. And of course they all disengage now because I wasn't shooting them for 2 seconds. Hopefully they are nice and come back to me. It's not the biggest issue in the world, but it is just a little annoying. Okay, and you actually need to get your containers off. There we go. Okay. Oh, we're getting there slowly but surely. Okay. Kind of got the bots to a manageable level now. Take out the shifters first because they have the least HP. Is it HP in this game? Armor? Shields? Whatever it is. They have the least stuff that causes them to go boom. So yeah, if you don't have reactor ceilings, this is pretty much impossible. Just the DPS you would need. It's pretty much impossible solo, I should say. Obviously, if you have a big enough group, you can do literally anything. But yeah, just with 5 accounts, I don't think that this would be possible without reactor ceilings. Because they just drain you, and then once your one guy is drained, you lose a huge portion of your damage, and then you're screwed. So yeah, I don't think it's possible to do without reactor ceilings. You can see all my guys have pretty decent reactor still, and if I didn't have that reactor ceiling, it just wouldn't happen. Close this, close that, close that. Alright, we're good now. Okay, let's loot these boxes. I'm actually going to take agents off. Could probably take NPCs off as well, but just not that ambitious. Okay, Alright, I'm almost ready to start talking about the thing I was going to talk about 10 minutes ago. Just as soon as I do the thing. So yeah, there's the Alt double tab, it cycles through all three of your guys. It's a super advanced technique. Not really, but it allows you to control three guys pretty reliably. Okay, let's reload some ammo. You're good, everybody's good. Okay, so when I first started and had to reset multiple times, I discovered that the best thing to do was start with the quickest way to get into a mech to fight and farm is actually with starting with indy. Now the reason for that is the earliest mech you can get as far as combat is concerned is actually the echelon. So the quickest way to get into an echelon is to do missions. So if you're just starting, I might actually do a series on this where I start a new account from scratch with nothing and just go through the process of what you need to do in order to kind of slingshot your way into success. So because of my previous experience resetting 3 times from nothing, I was able to kind of get ahead of the game as far as research went. Because yeah, like I said, I just had so much experience starting from scratch, and a lot of people hadn't started from scratch since 6-7 years ago, back when the game was just came out. Yeah, so what I did was I got started with God, I don't even know what it's called now. This guy, the Laird. Started with the Laird and just did harvesting missions. I eventually got the there's an industry bot that's also for, no, it wasn't this one. Castle? No. Just looking. Okay, well I don't remember what it's called right now, but there is a indie bot that is Syndicate, so I got that one next. It only takes a little bit to get. Yeah, basically just grinded missions, got universal tokens. Once I had enough universal tokens for an echelon, bought an echelon, T1 fit it. And I was doing this with multiple accounts, so like, and that was always my plan, to do multiple accounts. But yeah, just multiple accounts. I think I was doing like 4 or 5. Actually, I started with 3. I know I started with 3, and then I kind of went up as I needed it. 3 is all you need, really, to kind of do everything that I did. yeah, so I had 3 accounts, and I was doing missions with all of them at the same time. I was triple boxing, just just harvesting missions on Hirschfield. That's how I started. I was running 3 accounts at times, 3 accounts at the start, all in Laird's, just running harvesting missions, and that was the key to success. So I did that, and I built up my universal token count, built up my nick a little bit, and then yeah, T1 fit an echelon, 2 echelons, and then a Logibot. And at that point, I think I added on a 4th account just as a hauler. Like, my plan was always to do like kind of an indy / hauler account, and the 3 indy accounts originally all eventually became just strict PvP, or well, not PvP accounts, but damage accounts, like DPS accounts. Yeah, the plan originally was to have like 2 DPS accounts, an indy / hauler account, and then a logi / mining account type thing. So yeah, so I had the 3 accounts, 2 echelons, 1 Logibot. I think I was just using like a Hermes at the time. It was like nothing. Like it was like a sketchy Logibot, but just something with a shield and some repairs. So I got the echelons, got the Logibot. I think at some point I worked my way up to a Metis, because like at this point I've just been doing missions for like forever. An echelon is like super cheap. It barely takes anything. So to grind out 12,000 tokens, it's like, it's not super simple, but it's not like crazy hard either. It's not like it's just never gonna happen. It only takes like maybe an hour to grind out a single bot on 3 accounts is, especially just doing the same thing over and over and over again, harvesting fucking plants. Like, you go a little bit crazy. But yeah, in the end it was totally worth it, because I was able to farm taps after that. I did sneak onto the beta islands a little bit because I knew I needed to after I got those universal tokens, because I knew I needed to do that in order to get taps. So I snuck onto the beta islands, did a little bit of the missioning there, got some taps, and then just farmed taps on alpha. And that was like how I kind of got my first mech, and I actually pretty much skipped. I pretty much skipped mechs actually. Like, the echelons were totally fine for what I was doing, so I just went right to heavy mechs because I didn't need to upgrade my mech. Like, to upgrade from an echelon to just a factional mech was a pretty small upgrade compared to upgrading to a heavy mech, so I pretty much skipped mechs to begin with, and I went right to the heavy mechs. I think the first one I did was, I want to say Mesmer, just because the blues were easier to farm. Yeah, like I just farmed taps. Another thing you gotta remember was like nobody really had any like good mechs at the time, so there wasn't a ton of PvP, just because nobody really had a ton of stuff. So the beta islands were like pretty bare, because nobody could really do anything on the beta islands at that time. You'd be in a similar situation now, just because nobody really, just because like there's just not a ton of population out there. Like, I mean, you just seen from my last video, I went for an hour on the beta island and didn't see a single soul. So like, it's not like you can't just get onto the beta islands right now and farm taps. I wouldn't recommend it if you're all in, because if you lose it, then you're starting from scratch again. But once you get like a little bit of um, bank, or like you got enough to replace whatever you might lose, which is super easy to do, because if you're just using echelons, like that's super cheap to replace. How am I doing so far? 20k. Actually not bad. But yeah, so progression was Lairds, doing harvesting missions, echelons, farming taps, mesmer, farming more stuff. And then, of course, I was also doing some mining, because you can't build any of that stuff without mining. I mined a lot at the start. I did a lot of mining. I actually had separate accounts for that. I still have those accounts, but they're just collecting dust right now. I eventually want to get to the point where I just have these 5 accounts and they can do everything, because I hate switching accounts all over the place. It's just super annoying to have to do that. Yeah, like I think I got like 13 accounts, but I really just want to use 5. And just have these 5 accounts be able to do everything. Which, I'm getting there. Like, I think this is one of my highest EP accounts. And like my Indy robot control, my Nimco pestle, like yeah, it's gonna be a while. But I've got weapons completely done, so you know, it's gonna happen eventually. And the fact that you get EP every day, even if you don't log in, like it's pretty huge. Yeah, I think like even just yesterday I got like, in an hour I got, yeah, 7,000 EP. And that was only like an hour of farming, so if you think about it, if you went really hard and did like 4 or 5 hours a day, which at this point in time for me, if I really wanted to, I could. I don't know if I really want to, but I could in theory. You know, that'd be like what, 20, 30 hours a week, times that by 7k. Let's say you did 20 hours a week times by, that'd be like what, 140,000 a week. Yeah, think like if you did that for 2 months, you'd pretty much have all your research done. Or sorry, not all your research. All of your EP. Because at that point, like if I did that for like 2 months, I would pretty much double my EP right now. And yeah, I could basically master an entire other tree of stuff on my account. Again, pretty debatable if that's something that anybody would want to do. That would require some crazy commitment to the game. 25k already. What did I say I wanted? 60? I might actually just do all of it, because there's a few other things that I could... There's a few other things that I could research in Indy, and then I can also sell them. Sell the kernels if I get more than what I need. Or donate them to faction. Although our corp doesn't actually need any more Indy kernels, we're pretty much set on those. Yeah, I think a big reason that I kind of, well, when I stopped playing, it was majorly because of the account restrictions. So, for those of you that don't know, originally when they released the server, they said they set a 10 account limit, so you could run 10 accounts at once. You know, it was just an arbitrary number. They didn't really have any reason for picking that other than 10 is, you know, it's a number. And they also said that people were allowed to use multi-boxing software, because obviously there's a few things you could do with 10 accounts that wouldn't require multi-boxing software, but for the majority of things you do with 10, you would need like ISBox or something like that, right? So yeah, originally they said ISBox is cool and 10 accounts is cool. And I'm not going to name any names, but somebody was constantly sitting with all 10 of their accounts in Gen Chat all the time. And they were playing all the time, and people would see that and they'd be like, well, fuck this game, like I'm not going to play that with my one account, when there's this guy over here that's got 10 accounts doing 10 times as much as me. Like, I basically need to get ISBoxer and have a good computer in order to compete with anybody. Which is kind of true, but I mean, it depends what you're doing. Like, there's a ton of stuff you can do solo that's also just as efficient, and you know, when you have 10 accounts, it's not like you get 10 of everything for free. You have to still farm up 10 accounts worth of stuff. But, you know, like, I'm certainly biased in this regard because I prefer to have multiple accounts. Obviously, like, I'm using the max always. I just like to do whatever's the most efficient. And one of the issues with only having 5 accounts is you can't do everything that the game has to offer with only 5. There's some things that require more than that. And the thing I was doing with 10 accounts was I was farming medium taps, which was awesome. I very, very much enjoyed having 10 accounts and farming medium taps. It was certainly my favorite thing to do in the game. And you know, just the fight of building up towards that, and you know, amassing so much stuff that I could actually do that. Like, fitting out 10 heavy mechs it's not a small task by any stretch of the imagination, especially when you start from literally nothing. So yeah, I built up all this stuff and got to the point where I was farming just crazy efficiently, and like, I put in the work to get to that. Like, I really feel like I put in the work to get to that point in farming. You know, it didn't just fall into my lap where I could run 10 accounts and farm super efficiently. Another thing is honestly, it wasn't even that much better than farming with 5 accounts, which is what you can do now. But it was just more challenging, it was more fun, there was a bit more risk to it, because, you know, if anything goes wrong in the middle of that and you're running 10 accounts at once, like, that's a big fucking loss if you lose that much stuff. Like, yeah, it's pretty significant. So, anyways, there's one or two people that were sitting in Gen Chat all the time with 10 accounts, and I agree, it looks horrible to new players when they see, you know, I only ever sat with one account in Gen Chat, and then the rest of my guys were in Corp Chat. You can see that's what I'm like now. Like, well, actually you can't see because I've got the chat blocked, but Kiwi is my only account that's ever in Gen Chat. Just for that reason, because new players don't want to join the game and see 5 different Jimbos and be like, well, what the fuck. So the OPP guys thought for the I guess for the life of the game, it'd be better to just have 5 accounts, which I've got some mixed feelings about that too. Like, I feel like 5 accounts versus 10 accounts doesn't really... I mean, obviously 10 accounts does 100% look worse than 5 accounts, but it's still kind of the same issue. Like, if someone logs in and sees 5 Jimbos sitting in Gen Chat, they're probably gonna think pretty similar to seeing the guy with 10 accounts. Like, maybe not as bad and maybe not as visually damning, but yeah. It looks bad when literally half of Gen Chat is one person. Yeah. And with 5 accounts, it's not as intrusive, I guess, or like doesn't look as visually bad, but yeah. I was kind of of the opinion, like, if you're gonna limit the accounts at all, like, why 5? Why 10? Why this? Why that? And I mean, I know that they're just trying to feel it out and kind of see where things lie, but yeah, I don't know. Like, 5 accounts is still fine. You can do, I'd say, 90% of the stuff in the game with 3 accounts. As long as you've got a DPS, a Logi, and then a Hauler, you can do 90% of the stuff in the game. But the argument that I was making was that the population is so low, and so their argument was, okay, it's supposed to be a social game, you shouldn't be able to do everything by yourself, which is a totally reasonable argument. Like, you should need to group up and do some things, but the issue with this game is there's almost nothing you can do on one account. Like, almost nothing. You can do harvest missions, and you can farm like very, very easy spawns, which are far and few between. And in order to do that, you need really, really good gear. Like, you're not going to be able to farm a 2 heavy mech spawn with a tier 1 fit heavy mech. You're just not going to be able to do that. So my point was that, like, this, in its nature, was always designed to be a multi-boxing game. Now, where the issue lies is, well, what about if you have infinite accounts where there's no price associated, which is an issue, where you just buy 1 copy of the game and then you can run 10 accounts off of that, or infinite accounts off of that. So there does need to be a limit. Where that limit is, who knows? I felt 10 was okay because I could do what I needed to do with 10. I can't do what I wanted to do with 5. So 5 was restricting to me because I couldn't do the thing that I wanted to do. That being said, if I ever happen to make a friend, maybe we could do it, but then we'd be splitting the loot, so it would be less effective. See, this is the problem. Is that anything you do with a group where you split everything evenly is going to be less efficient than doing it solo. Now, obviously, there's more factors than just making profit, like having fun and interacting with people and doing this and doing that. But for those of us like me that are min-maxers, or, even you just want to have bang for your time, it's just not efficient to play with other people. which they are addressing. They are addressing that. Um, and I think that like the split loot thing that they're doing, like if you kill the pit boss, which is just roaming around here, he's right there. Everybody gets their own loot container, which is awesome. That is a beautiful thing, because then it makes it just really promotes doing things together. And if you do things together, it's actually a help rather than a hindrance. For example, the other day I was doing this farm, and someone was like, "Hey, I'd like to join you and do that farm," and I was almost like, I almost didn't want them to join me because I could do it myself, and if I start doing it with them and they expect to get some of the loot from it, well, I'm literally just taking a loss by playing with them. Which, you know, it's kind of bad to say, but it's also kind of true. It's like I'm literally getting less stuff by playing with you right now. So that's obviously not a good thing. Now, if I couldn't do this by myself, you know, honestly, it would be more beneficial for me just to find a different spot to farm. Which there is a different spot to farm. Like right here is a farm that you can do with way less firepower. Like you could do this with basically one heavy mech. So I would just go do that. Like to do this spawn right here with another person and get half the loot would still be less effective than me just going to this farm right here and doing it by myself. So things like the pit boss are a huge step in the right direction, because this is something that you can't do by yourself, and it's efficient, way more efficient, and actually really beneficial to do it with multiple people. So props to the OPP guys for fixing that problem, because that was a huge problem in the original game, was this thing that I'm talking about right now, where it's just literally more effective to just play by yourself. And I think they also changed the missions where that's the case, but again, this is a bit of an issue, because if you're just multi-boxing with a ton of accounts and getting 5 times the loot for just adding on a bunch of different tunes, well, there's kind of a issue with that as well. Especially if something is just like not even harder. You're just getting extra loot because you've got more accounts, you know. Which, I mean, it's just kind of how it is. But, you know, with that being said, like, I can kind of see where the 5 account cap makes sense, because you don't want people to just have 10 accounts getting free additional loot. I actually don't know exactly how they revamped the missions in order to give multiple loot, but I think it was still not super worth it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, like in the original server, the most efficient thing to do was to do fucking harvesting missions. like you really don't want the easiest, most boring thing to be the most effective thing. Like, and I've been saying this for a long time, like, I legit think that combat missions should give like 10 times as much loot as what they currently do, because they take quite a lot longer, and there's also a way bigger risk involved, and they're also more fun. Incentivize people to do the fun thing a lot. Like, you want to really incentivize people to do the fun thing, and combat in this game is I think for most people what the fun thing is, like going and killing shit. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I actually haven't done a ton of combat missions. Just maybe they have been changed and put in perspective a lot better, but not as far as I know. But yeah. I don't even remember what I was talking about to begin with. I remember I started talking about the 10 account thing. I don't remember. I don't remember what my original point was. I went off on such a huge tangent. Um, yeah, the 10 account thing with ISBoxer was like, that was super fun for me. But yeah, the only thing that I needed that for was to do medium taps. And now with the MK2 upgrades, I guess it's possible that I could try it again. I could revisit it, but it'd be kind of hard. I might have to come up with like a really good Riveler fit as a Logi. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that the Logis are good enough to keep up with the damage. The reason I was able to do it with 10 accounts was I could burn down the wave fast enough that I could like, it's just like an Eve, like doing damage is a form of tanking, because if you can push down the wave to the point where your incoming damage is less more often, then that's a form of tanking, and that's kind of where I was at before. My Metis, it can take 6 heavy mechs firing at it for a little bit, but it can't sustain it. Like it needs to have a damage drop off pretty quick in order to be able to take that. Like it wouldn't just instantly die, but it would take some time. Or it would die eventually if I didn't have enough damage to push down the waves in the medium taps. Because yeah, you get blasted by like, what did I say? Yeah, like 6 heavy mechs at a time sometimes, and they do a lot of damage. They're not tier 1 mechs; they're tier 3 mechs as well. So like, they're fit up. They're fit up with a bit of gear. Yeah, like on Beta Island with splash damage and MK2 heavies, might be possible to do now. Again, it's one of those things that would be like freaking huge risk though. If I'm going out there in 3 MK2 heavies, a Metis, and then, you know, a Lithus, which like Lithuses are super expensive to make. They're almost the same price. They're almost the same cost as. Actually, I think they're almost the exact same cost as Scarabs. Like they're freaking hard to make. They take a ton of resources. I shouldn't say they're hard to make, but yeah, they do take a ton. Like they take a lot of resources. A lot of beta resources like Eperton and Neuralgist, so they're not fun to lose. That being said, I know how much you get from medium taps. That type of risk would probably be worth it. It's tough to say, but probably. Yeah, it'd be like, I hope that they revamp how this dungeon works a little bit. For those of you that don't know, there's this Omega Island over here. And those teleporters that you see, the anomalies, they're used for taps, but you can also go through them without actually using them. And there's a 20% chance that it will take you to the Omega Island, which is like a little dungeon island. Now, I personally hate that is a thing and that's how you get there, because I actually use taps, and if you accidentally go into the wrong portal, so when I'm doing taps on beta islands, sometimes you'll go through an anomaly after you finish it, Okay, let me restart here. So once you finish a tap, it spawns this thing called the teleport anomaly echo, which takes you to another teleport anomaly. So those things have a 0% chance to take you to the Omega Island. They're completely safe to use. Now sometimes when you jump through them and you go to another anomaly, because it teleports you all over the island, sometimes it'll spawn you right in the middle of a red spawn or superior observers or whatever. So when that happens, you have to jump through the regular anomaly in order to get teleported to another spot on the island so that you don't die. Now every time that happens, there's a 20% chance that you go to the Omega Island, and the Omega Island is way the fuck out of the way. So you have to spend half an hour walking all of your bots back to Alpha. I think it's Alpha 1, then Alpha 2, then back to the Beta 1 island, then back to the Beta 2 island in order to pick up in order to continue doing your taps, which at that point, I usually just call it a day because I don't want to go through all that effort of setting up again and having to worry about it. So I really wish there was a different way that they did to get to the Omega Islands. Or maybe even if there was just some even if there was an indication on the anomaly that it would take you to the Omega Island, I would still have to take it if I get spawned right on top of a red spawn. Like, I wouldn't be able to just not take it and die. So yeah, the ideal solution for me would be that there would be just a completely different way entirely for you to get to the Omega Island, which I don't know if that's something they would implement because I'm pretty sure that almost legitimately only affects me. Like, I don't know how many other people are doing taps. I feel like it's nobody. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the only person that like farms taps pretty regularly, which now isn't even regularly, like I barely do them at all. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if I was one of the only people farming tier 3 light taps. I mean, and who knows, maybe there are other people doing it. I would love to see that. Although it is kind of my baby, I would love to see other people using what I do to help themselves out too. Yeah, as of right this second, I think I'm one of the only people that farms tier 3 light taps on beta 2s. So, like I said, it's an issue that pretty much only affects me, but if taps did get more popular in the future, I could see that being a thing that would be really annoying for more people. Just the fact that something that you farm also happens to bring you to something that you don't want to do at the time, it's just like not great. Like, it'd be like, for the average person, it would be the equivalent of every time you use a teleporter, there's a 20% chance that you just go to the Omega Island and get completely thrown away from what you're doing. It's like, it's really annoying. But yeah, it would, the point I was going to make before I got sidetracked again. This is good though. I'm able to talk to myself, which is pretty important for making a video where I'm literally just farming and kind of doing nothing. Just more content and more talking about the game. More fun Perpetuum stuff. Yeah, like the Omega Island, that would be another thing that, like, if we could like okay, so on the Omega Island, and it's been a while since I've been there, so I might not have this completely correct, but there's like a section over here that's got all the green guys, a section over here that's got all the blue guys, and a section over here that's got all the yellow guys. May or may not be exactly that, but it's pretty similar to that. It'd be sweet if over here they had, hey Baglow, nice to see somebody in the chat. It'd be sweet if someone over here, there was like a boss, and then a blue boss, a yellow boss, and a green boss, and each one of those guys had like the individual loot drops as well. That'd be awesome. Doesn't even necessarily have to be like all the trash mobs, but just the bosses. And then like if that was a way you could get like exclusive gear, like the T4 plus gear, oh, that would be so awesome. Yeah, Gamma's gonna be huge when it comes out. So when I played back on the original server, I played when the game kind of came out, like somewhat when the game kind of came out, back when literally all you got was 1,000 EP a day, and then nobody knew what they were doing. So it was like you get 1,000 EP a day, and you can guarantee that 50,000 to 100,000 of that EP is being spent on something that you're never going to use. Because like you also had to buy multiple clients back then, so like as a younger guy, back before I decided that spending my entire life savings on video games was appropriate, you know, a little bit more tight on the budget. I only had one account. I think most people, or a lot of people, only had one account. I eventually think went to 3 when the game went on sale or something, but like most people only had one account, and if you wanted to do anything, you had to put EP into it, the EP that you only get 1,000 a day of. So it's like if you want to mine, you have to put like 3 months worth of EP that you saved into mining. It was kind of ridiculous in that sense. But yeah, that's just how it was back then. So yeah, you and most people didn't specialize because you only had one account. So like if you wanted to do a little bit of everything, you couldn't specialize, and you barely got any EP. So yeah, it was just it was good times. Anyways, I played then, and then I quit, as lots of people did, because it was pretty strenuous to be able to do anything. And then I came back when the game kind of died. So I never actually really got a big Gamma Island experience from the original game. When I played on the other server that I was playing on before OPP went live, I did muddle around with it a little bit, but that's when people started to hack into the server once I got my Gamma base going, so that flopped pretty quickly. But yeah, Gamma is going to be interesting, because that's kind of like the end game at this point, right? Like that's going to be what we do in order to get the next thing. Like you build on an island and do your own thing. So yeah, as I was saying before, the bosses are an amazing implementation, and I think that they executed them damn near perfectly, other than they're too easy. There's very little risk of dying, and I was saying this last video, I think they need some sort of visual one-shot mechanic where if it's targeting you and you're within range of it, or you don't ECM it in time, one-shots you no matter what you're in, pretty much, or like chunks you for like 90% of your health. Because right now it's just another thing that's mindless, and there's very little risk if you have enough stuff. I think the only way that you can get it to where people aren't just gonna out tank it or out heal it or out whatever is there needs to be some sort of mechanic that just, if you're not paying attention, it one shots you. I think that would add a lot of excitement to those boss fights. But yeah, just in general, making those boss fights way harder would be cool. I think another big issue with all of the like difficult farming in the game, like the dungeon, the Omega Island, and the bosses, is there's not really a lot of incentive to do them over other things. Like, they take a long time to do, and you don't really get anything special from them. Like, if the bosses were like the only way to get T4 gear, kind of like in Eve, how they have their what the heck are they called? I forget now, but in Eve they've got like space anomalies, I want to say. I think they're called anomalies. I might just be confusing my Perpetuum language with that, but I think they're called anomalies in that too, where you can go and like find them, and you need like you need to like probe them out and find them and stuff like that. And that's how you get like the officer loot. There's a couple really hard ways to get officer loot as well, where you can just like grind forever, which was kind of like the like for like blue. There's like the Dark Star mech. That was also how you got like plus gear in this game. But yeah, there needs to be like stuff like that. That's like more exclusive than just the regular monotonous farming. Yeah, that would be awesome. Just like stuff that's like takes forever to get and is super rare and expensive. Then if you're going to beta islands with like T4 plus gear, like, you know, 40-50 hours worth of grinding, and you're willing to lose that in a 5-minute fight, damn, that would get your butthole puckered. That would get you puckered right up. And how insane would that be to kill that? Or to, like, you know, be able to do that. That would just be wild. And that's the kind of thing that I want to see. Just some really, yeah, like the T4 plus gear. And then maybe even eventually something even higher tier than that. T4 double plus. T4 triple plus. I know that the OPP team is pretty conservative though, so like a T4 triple plus would be like 1% fire fast rate, or fire attack rate, and 1% more damage. Takes 3 years to farm and build. I'm just kidding, but not really. they were pretty conservative with the MK2 bots, and yeah. I think they learned their lesson though, because like the MK2 bots came out, and like that was supposed to be a big thing to get people back into the game, and like just nobody cared. It was like I forget what they were originally. They were not impressive though. The only good one was the Grofo with like 10% extra range. Yeah, I think it was like 5% fire rate or something like that for Nim, and then Nimquill was like 10% more armor repair. I don't even remember, but it was the big thing with the MK2s before was you got an extra head and low slot, which with the way the game is now, they had it so that the regular bots already had that, because they didn't want to implement MK2s right away. They wanted to rebalance them, and totally fair. So because they knew everything was going to be shit, they decided, okay, we'll just make the regular bots have that, and that's fine. I honestly think they could have the MK2 bots even have an additional head and low at this point in time, because they fixed the way the scaling works, and the issue before is that tunings were multiplicative, whereas now they're linear. So instead of having your damage increase by 50%, and then 50% of that gets increased, then 50% of that gets increased, it's like if you have 6 of these, instead of a 1,500% increase, you have a 300% increase. So I think they could actually make it so we have even an additional head and leg slot on top of what's already there, and that would be totally fine. But I think at this point they're probably pretty much done reworking the MK2s. The 10% damage increase was pretty nice. Again, it's still, like, for the effort you have to put into getting them, it's still kind of like, it's nice, but it's nothing really special. I'm a big proponent. I don't know if anybody plays War Machine and Hordes, but in their rule book, and this is like kind of how my philosophy is now. Like I'm eventually gonna make a card game, and this is gonna be my philosophy. And I think this is a really good philosophy as far as games are concerned. Is they say right in their rule book, if something doesn't feel like it's overpowered or makes you go, what the fuck is that, or what just happened, it's not good game design, because nobody cares. Like, nobody cares about the thing that's just like, oh yeah, that's how that works, and oh yeah, whatever, that's fine. Like, you know, the thing that just does straight damage, or the thing that just is like a linear upgrade. It's like, people want to see, like, what the fuck was that, or holy shit, I can't believe that's so overpowered. And if people are saying that about everything, and like, you know, getting pissed off or getting excited, or you know, like, if they're not exhibiting some emotion over something, it's probably not good enough. And yeah, like, that's kind of the philosophy that I have. So like, obviously, this, okay, so I want to disclaimer that by saying, no, they're additive. The weapon tunings are additive. If you add another one of these, the laser damage, it goes up by 25% of what the base was. I think the skills are multiplicative, but the weapon tunings just add a straight 25% damage increase. They don't multiply your damage, like, because, okay, so I've got on this guy I've got 6 of these. I actually don't know what my base is without that, but yeah, like, I've got 522 damage, so 6 of these is 200%. So yeah, if it was times by 1.25 each time, which is what it would be way higher than that. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure that your skills are multiplicative when you increase your skills, but the tunings are just additive, so they just add a straight 25% more damage. And also, all skills aren't actually equal in that. Some of them are multiplicative and some of them are additive. At least that's how it is for tunings, because I was actually trying to figure out what my skills would need to be, or I was trying to figure out like my mining time per hour before. And some of them are additive and some of them are multiplicative based on like what the percentage were that increased. I don't know if it's the same with weapons, but I know that there's kind of some weird nuances there with that. I'm actually almost at my 100k that I need. That's awesome. I'm past my 60k that I said I was going to go for. Anyways, like I said, War Machine Hordes, their philosophy is, if it doesn't make you go, holy shit, that's OP, it's bad game design, which I think is really smart. Because, you know, you want people to be excited and convey emotion towards things that are in the game, because it makes them, you know, makes them more engaged. It's like when you see the MK2 bot and it's just a linear increase, like, okay, you have a little bit more damage and, you know, a little bit more CPU. It's like, nobody's really gonna go, oh my god, wow, like, look at that. Like, just nobody's gonna really do that over a 10% damage increase. I mean, it's nice. It certainly is nice, but, like, you know, it's not gonna get anyone excited. And their original implementations, where they were even more conservative than that, like, I mean, well, they saw the results of that. Like, just nobody really cared, which was unfortunate, because it was supposed to be a big thing. And, you know, you can't blame these guys. Like, they got to walk a really fine line between ruining the game and making it better. Like, if they have something unbalanced and overpowered for even a few weeks in the game, it's got like a really big trickle down effect where it affects the economy. Like, there's an economy in this game that if you have something overpowered that can just farm like fucking crazy and do anything, it's gonna really impact the economy for the entire future of the game, really. So they got to be really careful when they implement stuff, but at the same time they also need to I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and it certainly isn't. It's like a huge undertaking to balance a game. Like, it's a crazy huge undertaking. But like I said, I think they were just a little bit too conservative in the past. One thing I will say though is, as far as implementing new bosses and enemies, it is totally okay to have people lose all their shit to bosses. Like, stuff dying is good for the economy. Stuff being able to be farmed too easy is bad for the economy. Yeah, the economy in this game is like super weird right now because like nobody, like, I keep up with it because I'm selling stuff, and I've had like no competition for almost the entire year and a half that this game has been out. Yeah, the economy is just non-existent almost. And it's weird because like there's a lot of hardcore people that play this game, and I'm surprised people just aren't, like, it's not difficult to build stuff. It really isn't. It's, if anything, it's too easy at this point. And just like nobody's really just doing industry and building shit and putting it on the market. So it's a little strange. It's also kind of hard to judge like what things should be worth. Myself, I value my time on each account at about 30 to 40, I'd say 40 million an hour. So if I've got a fully fit, fully geared out, fully skilled up Riveler mining, I'd value that guy's time at 40 million an hour. So if I farm, or if I mine a million Titan, which is, I would be my, let's say 10 million Titan in an hour on one account, 10 million Titan should be worth 4 Nick each. Should be worth 40 million Nick. That's, otherwise I would go and just do harvest missions. So, and buy it off of somebody else who's selling it cheaper. That's kind of how I look at what things should be priced, and that's kind of how I priced stuff originally when I first did it. Now, there was more factors than that in the beginning. Like, I marked everything up because I'd be stupid not to. Like, if you have the corner on the market and you're the only person selling something, you can charge whatever you want. And like I said, I think you'd be stupid to charge the bare minimum of what you think something's worth when you're the only person that has it. Like, that's just silly. Now, you also have to keep in mind that you need to charge something that people can afford. Like, if I was charging $1 billion Nick for a heavy mech, no one could even afford that because no one has $1 billion Nick. So obviously that wouldn't be good either. But yeah, I think my prices originally, when I was like, when I first started researching and building heavy mechs, I was charging 100 million each. I think that was pretty reasonable. They're at 40 million now, which I don't think they'll go much lower than that if you kind of go with what I'm saying. Like, if you start to sell them lower than that, it gets to the point where you'd be better off just doing harvest missions and buying them yourself and not manufacturing them yourself, because there's no reason to do that. The time it would take to harvest all the resources and do the things in order to get that, or even just buy it outright, you'd be losing money over just doing harvesting missions. So 40 million an hour, I think, is kind of a good baseline. for what I would charge for anything that I do. I mean, there's other factors to consider as well. Like, if you're doing harvest missions on beta, like, there's risk factors, whereas if you're just mining with 10 accounts on alpha, especially if you're doing, like, liquids, is it really worth 40 million an hour doing that? Because it's pretty mindless and 100% safe. Like, you're never going to lose anything doing that, so... You know, obviously there's more factors than just 40 million an hour is 40 million hours, 40 million an hour. Like, no, there's... Beta 2, I make more than 40 mil an hour on harvest missions. Yeah, exactly. Again, I was just kind of saying that as a baseline. Especially if you factor in tokens as well on top of that, you're probably making more like... Honestly, almost double that. Like, so like, probably 60 mil an hour. Yeah, I'd say, like, again, just kind of like rough baseline. Also on beta 2, don't you have to continuously go to the terminal? Like, there's no outposts, right? So wouldn't needing to go into the terminal constantly cause it to take quite a lot longer? I guess, because there's tier 7 missions out there, right? Am I right? Tier 7 missions? Oh, okay, so everything is right around the station. I mean, you could get terminals out in the field that have everything right around them too. But yeah, I think another thing with that is you also can teleport right back to the base after. So if you do have to go a little over the way, you're only walking half the distance because you can just teleport right back after. So yeah, I could see that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And then I'm guessing that the level 7 missions are way more profitable than the level 6 missions, which is what I was doing when I got the 40 million an hour. So, yeah. Fuck. What do the level 7 missions give, like, at the top end? Like, when you got the full bonus, and you get a 2 harvest mission, like 4 million? 4 million for one mission? Because I know the level 6 missions are around 2 million per mission. I haven't done a single level 7 mission yet, so I have no idea. Because you need to be 700 standing to even get them, right? Because I've only got 600 standing. I got my missioning up to just under 600, and then I didn't do it for like I haven't done it for like a year. Yesterday was the first time in like a year that I've done that. Done any missioning. And there's also multi-boxing on top of that. Like, you could pretty easily run 3 harvesting accounts at the same time, all doing harvesting missions. I was doing that before pretty easily, and you know, then you just triple your amount of nick per hour right there. So yeah, if you're getting 60 mil an hour and you're doing that on 3 accounts, it's, you know, almost 200 mil an hour. So when you think about that, that means you're making 5 heavy mechs per hour. Like, that's insane. I feel like heavy mechs are underpriced right now at 40 million. Like, I feel like it should take longer than an hour on one account to get the highest possible thing in the game. I mean, obviously you need a bit of a setup in order to get to 40 million an hour, and you need to put in the time doing missions, but like, an hour to get the best thing in the game seems kind of ridiculous. Like, if you look at like Eve, Online, like, that'd be like getting a Titan in an hour. This thing that takes you like 5 to 10 years to get, you're just getting it in an hour in this game. Maybe not even a Titan, because the Titan equivalent isn't really a thing in this game. But like what are they called? Battleships? A battleship in Eve? I think that's what it is. But yeah, it'd be like getting a battleship in an hour, which a battleship still takes like 3 months to get in Eve. So yeah, if you make that comparison, it's totally out of whack. Yeah, like that's why. I mean, if they could make new bots, that would just be so insane. I mean, of course they're gonna have to do just an absorbent amount of testing in order to do that properly. But you know, if one thing they've shown that they're not gonna ruin the game, which is more important than doing fun stuff, honestly, because if they ruin the game, it's just done, right? So I definitely see where they're being super conservative. But yeah, like new bots and new balance, like that'd be a huge undertaking. I think they've also done a really good job of incentivizing PvP a bit more. I think that the guardians on the bases was a really good touch too. Something that you can just kind of go and do. Because I mean, saps are super tedious to keep track of and go do at specific times. It's like if you want to actively. Ooh, I just got some. Ooh, got some cortexes off the market. Nice. If you want to actively like try and take a base, you kind of have to not have a job. Like it's just really, it's because like you got to be on almost 24 hours like in order to actually take a base from somebody. So yeah, that's tough. It's tough to be able to do that. And I don't know if that's something that can really be fixed. The only thing I could think of that would fix that is have saps be worth like 3 times as much on weekends. That actually might be a good solution to that. Have saps like do like triple the drain or additive on weekends. I think that'd actually be a really good idea. I might actually throw that into the Discord chat. Because then, like, it would actually be realistic for people to do things on the weekend and actually be able to take a base and not need to not have a job and like just no life. One thing that Farmer was doing on his server, which I really liked, was he had double mining weekends where all the islands just had like 100% mining bonus on the weekends. Sorry, not the islands, but like the beta islands. You know, it just really encouraged people to go out and lose shit and like, you know, go do things. It's just really created that time where everybody can play, you know, on the weekends, and just really incentivize people to get out there and do stuff. Now, there's some downside to that as well, is that like, you know, mentally people will think, well, why the fuck would I ever bother mining on a weekday when I can just do it on the weekend and get twice as much stuff? You know, there's always a bit of a give and take when it comes to doing incentivized times. You know, it makes the rest of the time not as worth it, which of course needs to be balanced. But yeah, I think doing some more weekend events, which I'm pretty sure is totally possible as is, because Farmer was doing that on his server. I think that'd be a really good idea. yeah, like I don't know if it's possible to implement time things like that, or if they would have to do it manually all the time. Because if they had to do it manually all the time, that would be annoying. But yeah, if they could change it so that like saps just give triple the amount of stability or take away triple the amount of stability on weekends, that would really cause people to go and do stuff on the weekends and like play together. For me, it's kind of the opposite. Like weekends for me is hanging out with my girlfriend and doing stuff that's not video games. Like I like to play video games during the week, and then on the weekend go out and try and do stuff. But I think for a majority of people that would be a really, really good incentive to go and do things. Wow, I've almost got my 100k. That's crazy. Just having a really good conversation with myself. Oh, that's embarrassing. I really like others. I think others. I'm talking about you, Bangladesh. I think others is like the most solid corp in the game right now. Rin has done an excellent job with that corp and the other people involved in it. But I think that's just kind of like because it's mostly EU corp, right? European corp. I think that's also just part of like the culture there. And me and Rin have had talks about this. Because I was originally looking to join them. Well, not originally, but like when my corp was failing a few months ago, I reached out to him and asked if they'd want me to join them. We had a conversation about it, and he was like, "Well, we're Australian, okay." He was like, "Well, we're pretty socialist, and like from what I've heard and talked to you about, like you're not socialist at all." And that's true, but that's mostly because like I mostly play with like North American focused people, where that's just not really the culture in North America, and that's why socialism doesn't work, is because people take advantage of it. That just kind of happens when you have a certain mass of people. Like if you're a more tight-knit community and it's all your friends, socialism is by far the superior way to go. If everybody actually puts in the same amount of effort and like helps each other out and does good things, socialism is by far superior. But when you've got people that are lazy and don't want to put in any work and are entitled, socialism just doesn't really work, because you know you get into a situation where 2 or 3 people end up supporting the entire faction and not getting, and then quitting, and then when they quit, the corp is just done because they're sick of supplying for everybody. Yeah, like if I could play with like-minded people, even if they weren't as heavy on farming as me, because I don't really expect many people to be as heavy on farming as I am. Although in a game like this, I'm certainly not the heaviest farmer, but you know, I do my thing. But yeah, even if people weren't quite as heavy as me, but were like, you know, at least trying to contribute, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for some socialism. It's just when people just don't even try and just don't give a shit, and again are kind of entitled, that, you know, it's like, why the fuck would I give you anything if you're not gonna put in any effort as well? So back to others. They've got a really, really good group of guys there, or people. I don't know if it's all guys, but they got a really good group of people there that all work really well and work hard together. So they have had a lot of success that way. And I think Rin's actually one of the people that's kind of put the game on his back and helped out a lot with that. Like my video, these videos that I'm doing are solo effort. I'm literally just recording myself playing and talking shit. Yeah, I know you're in others. That's why I was saying that. Yeah, that's why I was pointing this out. for those of you watching YouTube video of this, I'm talking to somebody in my Twitch chat. He just said he's in others. Yeah, like Rin actually puts some effort into his stuff and like does a good job of it. Like, I know it's better than nothing, but it's really fuck all to make videos like this, because like I literally just recording myself playing and bullshitting. Yeah, once I get my 100K, that's gonna be it for this video. So I'm pretty damn close now. 99,000. I'm probably going to run back and finish up my research that I have to do. Do I have enough? I don't even know. I'm going to go until I have enough to get my fast extractor. That's where I'm going to stop. How much do I have? Oh, I do have 160,000. Okay. So I'm probably there right now. I'm going to figure out the actual amount that I need, because I don't want to get back and find out that I need like 100 more kernels. Because 250 was just a rough guesstimate. Yeah, being Australian must be a huge advantage when it comes to games like this, because like you've been preparing from birth how to fight with things that can kill you. just like fighting off freaking 5-foot tall spiders when you're like just out of the womb. That's got to be a pretty big advantage in these games. Oh, you're from Germany? Okay, well, maybe you're not as good at PvP then as the Australians. Yeah, they know their stuff. They do. Ryan does, well, not just Ryan, but all those guys. They do really good at PvP. And maybe you do as well, but I haven't seen it. I've seen them take on some pretty good fights and do some pretty awesome things. Okay, I need to figure out how much I actually need. I could do this in my head, but I'm lazy. 100 plus 73 plus 51 plus 34 plus 22. Like 280,000. Okay, I actually still need to farm a bit more though. I need 120. I know I just said I was gonna figure out how much I actually need, and I still estimated, but it's fine. I got a buy order up for indy kernels right now. I'll get some more eventually. Okay, so I need about 20k more. Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. Wow, I'm at 400 U. Just farming away like crazy. Oh, did I just get my first tab? I wonder what the percent drop chance is for tabs. It must be like, I've definitely killed more than 100 bots. I've probably killed about 200. I think they drop on average 500 each, and I just hit 100k, so 500 kernels each. How much is in this one? Okay, maybe like maybe I've killed like 300, and I got one tap. So what is that? Like a 0.5% chance. That sounds about right. Maybe like 0.5% chance to get a tap. That's so freaking low. Why do they have it that low? Like, what's the point? You're never gonna farm enough taps to actually go do the taps with any capacity. That's probably something that could be upped a little bit. make it like a 2% chance, 1 in 50. Then, you know, throughout a session, you actually pick up like 5 or 6 of them, and then you can actually go do them after. Just an opinion. Then again, you know, well, yeah, I think 4 or 5 or 6 taps an hour, like, that would be fine. Nobody's going to abuse that. It's not really abusable. The only issue with that I could see is if they're a 2% chance. If they're a 2% chance and a tap is 50 mechs on average, then on average you'd actually be replenishing your taps that you are using. So you'd kind of go infinite, which... Okay, so maybe 1% chance, so like every 2 taps you get 1 back. And it might not even be the right tap. Like if you're doing level 1 taps, you get a level 2 tap. Then you're not really sustaining, because you probably would just be switching the levels of taps that you're doing while you're farming. Yeah, I don't know. Although these guys are silver, so it would make sense for them to drop level 2 taps, because this would like kind of be what the level 2 taps would generate. So I don't actually know if they drop like different levels or up levels. I don't think they do. I know the special mechs can drop the mercenary ones, and that's also like crazy stupid rare. But yeah. Tough to say. I'm so glad that I'm almost done farming Indy. Oh, Indy is awful to farm. You know, it's kind of like it's chill, but it's just like it's so mindless. There's no way I could be doing it more efficient or like putting more focus in order to do it better. It's just killing the stuff as they spawn, which I guess is a lot of the static spawns. Like, if you're doing the static spawns where you're farming them for a long time, you're probably set up that there's going to be 0 risk, or like almost no risk. This one there's literally 0 risk because there's nothing that can kill me in this area, like nothing. The observers don't come down here, like the pit boss is orange, it doesn't kill me. And these guys don't have any damage, so... Every so often there should just be like a spawn that's like a super indie mech that just has like a billion DPS worth of guns on it and just kills you. That'd be funny. Just farming away at your poor harvesters, and then they're just like, you know, I'm done with this. I'm taking you out. When the harvesters fight back. Okay. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. 108,000. I need some water soon. I'm talking to myself too much. At least I got my internet sorted out now. It really sucked the other day. So after the other day when I lost my Metis and my Lithus, I immediately went and got my Ethernet cord finally set up, because I'd been putting that off for a long time. And I was actually watching my videos back, my Twitch stream, and in my Twitch stream, before that happened, I said exactly this. I was like, there will probably be a point at this stream where my internet crashes. And that's exactly what happened. So I really can't blame anybody but myself, because I 100% knew that was going to happen eventually, and I just went on the beta islands and did my thing anyways. Now, the timing of it was really bad. that could have been a little more forgiving, where I didn't have it crash the second that two of my bots went through the teleporter. Um, and then also happened to land right on some observers. Like, the timing and the sequence of it and just the luck factor was still really, really, really unfortunate. Like, but I could have mitigated all of that by just having my Ethernet cable set up properly and not have like a crashing Wi-Fi, constantly crashing Wi-Fi and playing on that. So, don't get me wrong, it was still super, super unlucky, but it was also avoidable if I just wasn't lazy. So, oh man, I'm the only person on in my corp right now. That's kind of sad. But I don't think this is really a main time zone for them. For a lot of my corp members, they're all, well, they're not all, but a lot of them are NA. So it's like 2 o'clock right now where I am. Shit happens, then you die. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be nice if that didn't happen, though. Again, just the luck of it was pretty. There was a lot of things that had to happen for me to die there, like in that way, and all of them happened. Like, my internet had to crash right at the second that I went through the teleporter. I had to teleport into an area that was, and then I also had to teleport into an area that had observers, which, like, when I'm doing taps, I see observers maybe like once an hour. So it was a pretty unlucky sequence of events. But like, I knew that could have happened. I also knew it was super unlikely, which is why I didn't like care that much about the possibilities of it happening, because yeah. Either way, I got everything back now and no harm done. I might actually have to put a buy order up for some more universal tokens. Like, I'm good. I got about 8 or 9 medicines worth of universal tokens, but just with how slow the market is, it's probably good to be planning about 10 mechs ahead of time. Like, seriously. And I'm not following my own damage now, which is bad. Okay, I think I'm gonna do 125, and then that'll should be good. So just a little bit more. I don't have much intention of pretty much ever unlocking the other stuff in the indie tree. Again, it would be almost purely for a completionist sake. I'm never gonna build any of it. Yeah, be nice. This is another tree completely done as far as I'm concerned. I got green left to do. Got a little bit of red left, and then just the common stuff. So I'll probably be doing the money spawn over here later, because I think common kernels are going to be my biggest bottleneck in the near future, as far as what I want to research. Oh, I should probably reload. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty much just this. Velocity Nexus would be good to get. So, you know, a little bit more stuff, but I'm damn near there. Damn near there. So I say 125, about 10,000 more. I'm actually going to the gym tonight. Finally convinced the lady to go. We're both super lazy, so it's kind of convincing both of us to go. I shouldn't say we're lazy. We just don't like to go do exercise. We do other stuff. We just don't like exercise. I shouldn't even say that. Like I like to go play basketball, but yeah, it's a process to leave the house. It is a process to go out and do stuff. No, it should be fun. We're gonna go rock climbing. We're actually going bouldering, but I think bouldering is kind of like less known. It's like rock climbing, but instead of climbing high up, you kind of climb more laterally. Good night? Okay. Well, I'm not leaving yet. Still got to do a bit more, unless you're saying good night, but I think you just said it's the morning for you. Oh, no, you're going to bed. Okay. Well, have fun in Germany. Thanks for watching. But yeah, bouldering. So yeah, you climb more laterally than vertically, and you do like little set courses. Like you can only use certain rocks. It's actually like quite a bit of fun, and it's super challenging. Like we only ever do like the easiest ones, and those are already challenging for us. Like if we continue at it, it'll really open up a lot of fun stuff once we get to like the mid levels. But I don't look overweight. Like I look pretty average as far as body size go, but according to like BMI, I'm like 30 or 40 pounds overweight. I know BMI is like a horrible thing to go off of, but it's just like not accurate at all because it doesn't factor in a lot of things. But I mean, like most people, I could definitely stand to lose 10 to 20 pounds that just don't need to be there. So another thing is like while I was working, like I was outside for 10 to 12 hours a day, just on my feet and doing stuff. And you know, it doesn't get you in great shape, but it does get you in better shape than doing nothing. And right now I'm doing nothing, so I really want to try and keep at least a little bit of my in shapeness. Like my legs are pretty toned right now just from that, and you know, I'd rather not completely lose everything that I built up to, because that's kind of how it works when you start being inactive, is you just lose everything that you gained while you were being active pretty rapidly. 500 U of loot. You know, this is actually better than I thought it would be. I think streaming or recording kind of helps the time go by faster. Keeps me a bit more engaged while I'm doing this, because like it's not the most engaging thing to farm indie bots. So no, it's kind of nice. I'd really like more people to just throw at videos like this. You know, like even me right now, just completely unedited raw footage. Like, who gives a shit? You know, obviously you want to be careful not to like put any personal information out there if you're not going to edit it very heavily or like look very much. But you know, just be careful. Yeah, especially when it's video format, because people can pause it. So even if you show something for only like a split second, people can still pause it and see what it was. Yeah, as long as you just show the games, no issues with just showing raw footage, playing the game and talking. I could do something like this. Is that this one? Oh, that's this one. I'm only gonna throw this up here for the last little bit, but this might actually be better, just kind of to like show. Oh, I think it's actually in here. If you take this off. Could like get rid of a lot of this clutter and just make it more, like a little bit more visually appealing for like people that are just kind of want to watch. Get this big ass bitch out of the way. Oh, I forgot my chat blocker. It's good. There's nothing sensitive that we're talking about right now. And plus I was in Gen Chat, so... Or was I? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Okay, I let way too much stuff spawn. Oh, shit. Okay, well, I guess we get to see the massacre. The fight to the death. Between the indie bots and the bots that can actually shoot. You know what? I want to get a better angle. There we go. Get the action shot. There, now people watching can actually see what's happening. Not that that's needed. Well, this should at the very least bring me to what my goal is. But yeah, I think it's hard to deny that this isn't a little bit more appealing to look at, as opposed to me alt-tabbing between 30 different windows. The ultimate fight. I almost got them down. One pesky indie bot at a time. Well, visually, this has to look better visually. I'll check it out after. Maybe the next video I do, I'll do it all like this, where it's just one view, and maybe like a little bit more with the less clutter on the screen with the one bot. Because there's a ton of clutter on the screen in this game. But, I mean, that's kind of just the nature of it when a lot of it is really point-and-click text-based. But you can eliminate a lot of the clutter. Like, it's not super necessary, especially for the Logibot. It's just there because I have everything set up similar, so... But yeah. Like, clearly it's not needed. Like, what's on the screen right now is all that I need. Okay. Alright, that was the ultimate battle there. I'll push this wave down to the very bottom, and then that's gonna be that. That should be the last one. I guess we'll see if something else spawns, but probably not. Yeah. Because how much am I at now? Perfect. So I'll go back to this view so that you guys can see. I'll go over the loot as I'm walking back. See. now I have nothing. Yeah. That's okay though. Probably a little, yeah, definitely more interesting to look at it that way. The only problem with looking at it through this bot's eyes is the giant bubble. Like if I zoom in a bit or zoom out, like the force field takes up a lot of the screen. But, you know, it's something I'll deal with later. Alright, loot. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow. Actually, quite a bit of tier 3 gear. Wow, I'm actually surprised. I guess I was farming for a fair bit of time. Plates, repairs, unis, armor repair tunings, huh. Pretty much all stuff that I'm almost certainly going to recycle. Pretty low amount of fragments, decent amount of plasma, but yeah, the big thing and the only thing is that indy kernels. So I'll keep the video going just until I get back to the base and get that stuff researched. Oh wow, I am almost out of ammo on this guy. And this guy, holy crap. Guess that's how you know you've been farming pretty hard, is when you go through almost a full cargo of ammo. yeah, hopefully that was a good BS video. Again, just getting some raw footage out there of people playing the game. That's not meant to be anything exciting or high value or something that even necessarily anybody's gonna like, but I think it's just good to get some farming videos out there. I've got tutorials already on the channel, so you know if people want to actually learn stuff about playing the game, there's a couple things out there, but this is just kind of what the game is and what you do. You know, farming. A lot of farming in this game. A lot of grinding. If you want to do any industry, that is, you could get stuff pretty easily off the market in a pretty slow amount of time. I was talking about earlier in the video, but you know, you can pretty much get the best stuff in the game currently that it has to offer in like an hour and a half. Yeah, in an hour and a half, like to get the best bots and crap in the game is like, it's nothing. So, you know, it is what it is. If you want to be able to produce stuff though and build stuff in the game, like the indie side of it, this is what you have to do. Like, indie requires you to mine, it requires you to harvest, it requires you to farm robots, because you got to get the kernels, and kernels drop from robots. You got to farm for the fragments, that's these things. This is how you build prototypes. You got to have fragments to build prototypes. Decoders, you need decoders to get the blueprints. Yeah, you gotta if you want to do indie and like do indie by yourself, you need to have combat bots. It's just that simple. You need to be able to farm combat. Cannot be done. I mean, you could do the market, but if you're not building anything to make any nick to do the market, then yeah. It's just not really a thing. Thing about the kernel grind though, and one of the arguments for just buying off the market is you only need to do it once. So if your entire goal in the game is to build stuff and build robots and sell it and try to like be an indie empire, then you could buy kernels off the market, because all the combat robots that you have are going to collect dust after you're done doing it. Granted, it takes a long enough time. Like, you're going to be doing it for so long that, yeah, it's probably just more worth it to suck it up and get the combat robots. You don't need to go this crazy though. Like, you can do it with just getting, like I did at the start, just get some echelons. Okay. Okay, let's actually go sort. Throw all this stuff in the sort bin. I'll sort it out later. All that I want right now are these. Let's grab all of this stuff, throw it in there. All of this stuff can go in here. Okay. And research. Industrial trust. Okay, so I need... Did I remember to factor this one in? I think I did. Actually, let's just do all of it. Okay, I'm gonna actually figure it out now. Plus 34, 300 plus. Okay, so 180. Oh, it was actually exactly 280,000. I thought I was I thought I was guesstimating, but I guess I actually got exactly that. So I was 11k over, which I'm fine with that. Okay, so this one I only need 108,000 because the last one is high tech, and it's 50k. There we go. Okay, so market, buy 2 of those, and prototype. There we go. That'll be good to go in a few days. Because when you prototype from the start, you have to prototype this, reverse engineer it, build one, prototype this, reverse engineer it, build one, prototype this, reverse engineer it, and then you can start building the whole chain. So the first chain of something that you do when you don't have the modules, it takes some time because you can't prototype and reverse engineer them all at the same time. You got to do one and then the other and then the other. So anyways, awesome. Actually, speaking of that, don't I need to prototype this? I think I do. Yeah, I think that was a thing that I was doing before too. So I got this one. Okay, am I doing that Patronus? Isn't that a Harry Potter spell? Patronus? Yeah, no, okay, so I need to do this one now too. So you guys get a little bit of bonus industry at the end of this. This video. I think I'm good on the rest of the stuff that I don't need to build it the second. Okay. Okay, I just fucked up. I know I did. I actually meant to build this. I did not need to make a prototype of that. Oh, and now I don't have this anymore because I just did that. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. I'll build another set of prototypes of these anyways because shield hardeners are something that nobody's really producing. It's not a big loss. Like, it's good to have backup prototypes, but I definitely did not need to build that. When is this one going to end? 1640. So 20 minutes. I'll try again in 20 minutes. All right. But anyways, that's it for the stream. So what happens when you try to do 50 things at once is sometimes you make mistakes. But yeah, hope that was enjoyable, and hope you guys learned something, or at least got your thoughts rolling. Thanks for watching, and catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.